We are live.
Okay. Great. The July 26, 2024 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. It's noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via the web. Commissioner Patel is excused and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Today's meeting is being live streamed on the internet and a link is posted on the Oregon Lottery website. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Ramirez,
Here.
Commissioner Weller,
Here.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Here.
Chair Sathoff.
Here. Will the clerk also inform the commission of anyone else in the meeting?
Yes, we have Devin Thorson from Department of Justice.
Great, thank you. Members of the public have the opportunity to provide written comments to the commission for this meeting. A full copy of the written comments that were received were provided to the commissioners in advance of the meeting and will be posted on the commission meeting website. Will the clerk please share the public comments that were received for the record?
Yes, to whom it may concern, if your goal is to collect as much money for our state as possible, please consider expanding sports betting to allow other sports books besides DraftKings. Just as they increase the handle the state receives by being an improvement over the scoreboard app, so would having other online sports books. Firstly, DraftKings operates as a de facto monopoly, therefore not incentivized to offer products that would be found in a competitive marketplace. There are many markets, leagues, and types of bets that DraftKings simply does not service. The lost revenue due to limitations of DK's services and lack of at least the idea of competitive pricing could be significant, to say the least. Thank you for your time and attention to our state's best interest in this matter. Jonathan Savage.
Thank you. And I want to note that the commission very much appreciates public comments, gives us an idea of what things we should be discussing and thinking about. Okay, with that, let's move to the director's report. And we have Deputy Director Colandrea today to provide that.
Good morning, Chair Sathoff and commissioners. This morning, I have 4 brief updates on lottery news, a sales update, and a few winner stories to share. Our recruitment for the AD of Operations and AD of Business Services continues. The next step is our virtual panel interviews, followed by in-person interviews and a meet and greet. We previously reported the biennial security review identified 18 critical findings. We are pleased to share we completed all of the critical items and send thanks to our vendor partners and IT security team for achieving this milestone. Next steps include correcting lower level risks to improve overall maturity, enhancing our visibility into potential risks and reporting capabilities, and updating policies and procedures. As a quick reminder, we are changing our monthly review of the financial statements. So starting next month, we will only verbally review the financial statements and variance reports in future packets quarterly. Monthly packets will still include the statements, and future director's reports will include noteworthy highlights as needed. Our team is working on fiscal year-end financial statements and will present those for review and approval at the next meeting. At the first annual Think Northwest Cascadia Creative Awards, 5 of our advertising campaigns on problem gambling, holiday scratch-its, state parks, and Oregon Teacher of the Year were recognized in categories such as Best Purpose-Led / Social Impact Creativity. We send thanks to our marketing team for this work. So next, I will share a sales update, and the product team will provide additional details in their quarterly update. Sales dipped compared to last month's report. Year over year, we are now down 7.5%. This is largely due to variations in jackpot sales. Powerball is down approximately $7.5 million compared to the first 3 weeks of business year 2024. Scratch-its are a bright spot. Sky High Crossword, released at the end of March, is a major contributor to the 3.1% lift in sales compared to last year. Video Lottery is still holding close to the same as last year, with sales down 0.7%. Sports betting continues to have strong numbers, with turnover trending up over 36% from last year. And in closing, I'll share with you a few winner stories. Irvin B. of Portland enjoys buying scratch it tickets for fun with his dad. He has not hit it big until now. Irvin purchased a wild crossword at the Stop and Go in Portland and had all the words. When he went back to scan the ticket, he could not believe it came up as a $100,000 winner. He plans to purchase a home. Joseph S. of White City accomplished a rare feat, winning the 8-spot Keno jackpot for $90,177.30. While this was not his first Keno win, he has never had one of this size, and Joseph purchased his ticket at Stop and Go in White City. Dustin P. of Grants Pass won $18,638.65 playing Big City Fives Diamond. He hit the jackpot at the Lucky Duck and Deli in Grants Pass after a long day at work, only days before his birthday. He plans to pay off some bills. And that concludes this month's director's report. Thank you.
Is she muted?
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Thank you. And I was just asking if there are any questions or comments from the commission for Deputy Director Calandreo.
I guess I have one. It's not really sure if it relates to our slightly down in revenue and sales. Are we still feeling any kind of impact from the early January storms and times when people couldn't leave their homes? I can't remember what the impact was, but if that's looking at the total picture for where we are today.
Yeah, I do not believe so, but I will let the team answer that question directly when they get to their quarterly update to make sure that you're providing the most accurate information.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you.
With that, let's move to the minutes of the previous commission meeting. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I move that the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on June 28th, 2024 be approved as final as presented today.
Do I have a second?
Second.
And will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Weller,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
Chair Sathoff.
Aye. For the record, the motion is passed. We have a short meeting today, but part of our agenda, I think, is the staff updates. So I'd like to hear Tina and Sarah and Carrie, if you want to step forward, great, to go over your performance updates.
Good morning, Chair Sathoff, Commissioners, Deputy Director Calandreo. For the record, my name is Tina Erickson, and I am the manager over the lottery product portfolio. So today we are going to go over our Q4 business year-end information with you, and there'll be some highlights as well as how we performed for the year, as Ty had shared. And if you will give me a second here. So the first section, of course, is regarding lottery product portfolio, and wanted to highlight how Scratch-Its performed. During this last quarter, our sales were up, and I think that was largely due to the fact that we had introduced in March our $20 crossword game, and that game has performed very well for us, and it continues to do so. The other highlight that I wanted to share was our state parks, Visit State Parks ticket. This design has that nostalgia to it, and it was designed by one of our in-house digital team members, and she did an awesome job on this. It's a very popular theme. Again, it's really a shout out also to one of our beneficiaries. So wanted to share that. That ticket will probably sell through and be out of the market in early September. If we're going through and we're looking at how the sales performed for the year ended with about a $4 million increase compared to the previous year. Going to Commissioner Wilcox's question about impact due to the January weather. There was a bit of impact, I know, in the Scratch It portfolio, just trying to get product to those retailers. And so when you look at that overall for the year, I think there is a little bit of the reason why we're down, but it should smooth out. And then, of course, we are in that summer month. So that May, June timeframe, sales tend to decline just because people are out enjoying, state parks or doing other things. So any questions here?
Thank you for addressing that. I'm sorry I was on mute.
Oh,
Just to interject really quickly on this nostalgia theme. When you guys first showed it, I was really impressed and thought it was really would click with buyers or people that were playing the game. And I'm glad to hear it did so well. So thank you.
of course. Yeah, it's always fun to see something that kind of brings back memories for me.
Mhm.
All
Can I,
right.
can I ask,
Yeah.
you started by saying that we've got the year to date, we're up. You mentioned the $20, I think it's a crossword game, was very popular. Can I just
Yeah.
ask, this is one of those dumb questions about the business. Is this increase being driven because it's a $20 ticket or because of the game that we're offering with it, or both?
It would be both, actually, Chair Sathoff. We had never had a $20 price point at the crossword
Right.
theme. And so when we introduced that, we definitely saw that customers were engaged with it. And I think in the previous meeting, when we did a quarterly update, Jen Bagger may have shared how sales were doing, and that particular crossword has some unique, overprint to it. So it's got the hot air balloons, and it was just kind of that engaging look. So we do have a super strong crossword following, if you will. So we have a lot of customers who really enjoy that sort of theme.
But we have $20 tickets in other
Yes.
formats,
Yeah.
and do we know do we see? I'm just trying to figure out if a lift like that seems like an expensive ticket to me, but if a lift like that is if that's something we should be considering elsewhere as well.
So initially, yes, we will see, the sales come back to kind of a baseline point. But definitely these, an increase in cost that people are willing to pay definitely does impact in a positive way the portfolio. So, and having now 3 $20 price points in the
Right.
market versus 2, we're seeing that added sales. I don't know if that helps answer the question.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, it's that price point. When do you, if we have tested out whether or not that price point is going up over other formats, and if we would go there, or we want to
Yeah.
keep it down. I don't know. I was just thinking through the price point, as you point out. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right, moving along to our Keno. And Keno, as we all know, it is just a product that performs relatively consistent. Again, you've got jackpots that make that product exciting for our customers. The decline really just equates year over year to about $440,000. So it's really kind of maintained its place in the market here. Any questions on this? And then our jackpot games. So again, another big product that gets driven by those jackpot amounts. We know that Oregon had the $1.3 billion winner. And so that is really kind of where you see a big increase in our sales for that particular game. Mega Millions also had some, big winners in there as well. So again, they're just really driving, the sales that are coming up. We do see Megabucks. It did have a slight decrease year over year. But it's really based on when the jackpots are high and people are jumping in and wanting to play. So any questions on those? All right. Well, I am going to turn it over to SAR.
Thanks, Tina. Chair Sapoff, Commissioners, Deputy Director Calandreo. Good morning. For the record, my name is Sar Richards. I am the manager of the video gaming products here at the lottery and presenting the Q4 update and going over the year-to-year info. As you can see in the lower corner, we were down 1.3% to forecast. This can be largely attributed to we only had one game launch and it wasn't statewide. We launched Monopoly on the Cascada, and to date we only have 1,100 of them in the field, and that number will continue to go up, and that'll improve that number. Year over year, we were up 2.4% over actuals, which led us to be at that 0.7% down that was mentioned earlier. There was a question earlier from Commissioner Wilcox about the storm. That did impact us in Q3, and after that, we did launch 2 games, which helped buoy us. And then I hope everybody remembers we had the tax kicker, but also helped smooth that out. So we had a loss in the Q3, but then that tax kicker helped us out quite a bit. Looking forward, we do have a very exciting year coming up. This fall, we'll be launching Fort Knox, which is a variation on a mystery jackpot progressive that we've had in the past, but this one will be a little more transparent to players. And then we got some other really exciting things coming up in the year, including replacing more of the E20, our lowest performing terminal, with more Cascadas. Anything on video? Any questions?
Sorry, I was just we're still not really back. I mean, if you look at 2023 Q2, we're still not entirely back to that. And I don't know if the January weather caused any of that, or if, as we've discussed, maybe we're flat for other reasons. Do you think this is starting to, are you seeing this gradual increase now, or?
Well, there's a couple of factors to that. Well, the E20 right now, we still have 1,400 in the field, and their win per unit per day is quite a bit lower than the replacement terminal, the Cascada. So we still have to absorb more of the Cascadas will help boost up overall sales completely. So it's not really an apples to apples comparison, because the portfolio is going through a lot of changes with that new terminal, including that game Monopoly I talked about, which is doing very well. And like with the E20, you really can't launch any new content on it. So it's holding us back a little bit, but we're well in progress to replace it.
Okay, good point. Thank you.
Of course. Anything more on video? Well, then I will turn it over to Carrie for sports.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, Deputy Director. For the record, my name is Carrie Hemphill. I am the Sports Betting Product Manager, and I am here today to give you the sports betting product update for the last quarter. So we just saw over $210 million in dollars wagered or turnover in Q4, which was slightly up when comparing to over Q3 last quarter. We did see a drop in margins to 11%, reducing the overall gross gaming revenue, approximately $2.3 million, but still coming in for the quarter at $23.17 million for gross gaming revenue. The drop in margins is not a concern to us from Q3, because Q3 was extremely high and Q4 margins are getting closer to the expectations that we have. Year over year comparisons remain positive with good growth in Q4. We continue to expand our player base. We saw a 27% increase year over year in the number of unique active customers. So the customers, they may have been registered or they may not have, but they're coming back in and placing at least one wager within the last 3 months. We saw that equate to about 16,000 customers coming in the last quarter and placing at least one wager. Total year over year comparisons, number of bets are up 30%. Our dollars wagered within the quarter, our turnover is up 41%, and our gross gaming revenue is up 27%. Basketball and baseball were the primary sports of the quarter. Basketball led the way. We had the NBA playoffs and the finals fall in the quarter, and it pushed heavy interest in the league at the end of June. The NBA Finals had fantastic results, but the volume was flat compared to 2023. The matchup generated similar interest, but the Celtics who were in it kind of dominated the action, and it was a short series of 5 games instead of the opportunity that a 7-game series would have given us with additional wagering opportunities. Where we are seeing really exciting growth in the basketball is the WNBA. It's been really fun to watch that tremendous growth. The focus on the league, Caitlin Clark, anything with the Indiana Fever has really drawn interest and increased betting volume. And I put some numbers here on the slide. Just WNBA alone, the number of bets were up 371%. Unique players placing a wager on WNBA up 258%, and the gross gaming revenue up 350%. So really neat to see, female sports really get some tremendous interest in the quarter. Baseball numbers were solid. Customer base continues to stay strong there. Baseball has an extensive betting menu. Lots of good teams playing well and lots of growth. Live betting really dominates the action there, garnering around 50% of all bets placed within the live matches. And then quickly, just a few of the extras. Table tennis continues to grow as well, increasing 81% year over year. And we saw soccer, tennis, ice hockey, MMA, all of those also bringing in really good numbers. Soccer stood out also with fantastic margins in the quarter. Registrations, we continue at a really good pace. We were posting a 48% increase with 13,000 new people coming in to place a registration on our sportsbook. And that really is driven a lot by MMA and boxing, the new registrations coming in. So Oregon likes their combat sport events. Looking ahead, we are in our Major League Baseball season. We're just about to start our Olympic coverage, so we will have the Olympics on the sportsbook. We expect basketball and soccer to dominate that action. And then the NFL, exciting, is coming up. Preseason starts in August and regular season in September. And that is it for the quarter. Any questions on the sports betting product?
I have one. Do you wish to address the comment that was submitted by someone asking about organizations other than DraftKings being available?
Sure. One thing I pulled out of that comment was that we aren't competitive. We're losing some revenue to other markets if we were to have other sports books in our area. That is not a DraftKings choice. That is a lottery choice. So I do agree with that comment. DraftKings would gladly open up the markets if we say, yes, let's add collegiate wagering. But that is a lottery decision and the governor's decision to do so, not a sportsbook decision. So we are competitive within the constraints that we have, but do recognize that there are other options for folks, such as the black market currently, where those wagers are going. Right now, our contract with DraftKings allows just for them in our sportsbook, but something that could be addressed later in the future if we tend to look to expand. But I pulled more from it of the fact that it's our decision to remain with the leagues and markets that we have. If we decide to change that and be more competitive in the marketplace, that would be lottery's choice to do so, or the commission and the governors.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I have a quick question. Actually, it's probably more of a comment too. I was thinking that our sports betting was implemented maybe in the fall of 2021. Is that correct?
It kicked off in the fall of 2019 with
okay.
Scoreboard, and then we switched over to the DraftKings platform in January of 2021.
Okay, so I guess I'm a little behind on the times there, because I was thinking this was the first time that we would offer sports betting for the Olympics, so I guess not.
We've had 2 Olympics
previously,
one on Scoreboard, I guess the summer,
Mm-hmm.
and then the winter one in 2022,
Mhm.
if I remember correctly, on the DraftKings platform.
Okay.
And our constraints with the Olympics are the same as they've always been. We stick, the our normal options are professional athletes. Well, the
Mhm.
Olympics doesn't always tend to be professional athletes. It's, amateur athletes going into the
Mhm.
Olympics. That extends what we offer a little bit, but we are mindful of the age of athletes and where we allow wagers placed on mostly team activities
Mhm.
or medal, for countries, those kind of
Mhm.
things. Will be individuals, but based on a kind of an age watch. We don't want to do
Okay. Yeah, so did you say basketball and what was the other one that was our top? Was it soccer? Okay,
I to be interest among the whole Olympic base, but the majority of the Olympics to be around. Now, if USA in basketball
Mhm.
out pretty early in contention, then obviously that interest is going to drop. If they
Okay.
can, throughout, that interest will stay there.
It's another dream team, so we'll see how we do this year.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yes.
Here, one other, I'm looking at your metrics and the new registrations, that what you're calling the unique active customers, that it's pretty impressive. What should I be looking at? So I assume these are not like one and done, right? So how do I read your metrics so that we can see that this increase in player registrations, these are repeat players?
Mhm.
Is
So
that
yeah, it gets kind of confusing because I'll throw in a new registration, which means new players coming in, and that was about 13,000 for the quarter. Our
Right.
unique active customers, what they may be is, say, someone that wagered on the NFL and specifically likes the NFL, and then the season ends and they don't come back to us until the next season comes through.
I see?
What I am seeing is what there tends to be seasonality in sports, but it looks like our players are not sticking with just one seasonality. They are coming back and touching us throughout the year. They may come and go throughout. If they're not interested in basketball, they may pop back in for baseball or something like that. We are seeing just the return of customers, less seasonality, I guess is the easiest way to say it, from customers coming in and popping in and out. We also may lose them though. We have players registered and they may see we don't have collegiate wagering, for example, and they want to go to the black market that does. So they'll go check that out. They may stay there or they may come back to us. They've already registered with us. So those numbers aren't going to show up as a new registration, but coming back after a lull of time, so the 3 months in this sense, we see that they have been here and then they've returned to us in some capacity, at least with one wager within the time period.
That's helpful. The other question I have related to customers is, I know that I don't know that we do this. I think we do this, but it would be interesting to me at some point. You don't have to do it today, but if we looked at this, the increase in our players, is it changing the demographics of our players, or are we still sort of drawing from the same demographics? And I don't need to spring that on you now, but I wouldn't mind hearing that maybe at another meeting.
Perfect. I will add that to an agenda for next time.
Okay, thank you.
I have one more comment and question also. Sorry to hit you up so hard this morning, Carrie. I'm thinking in the US, I think, are there 41 states or so that have the lottery? I think we're in that number.
I believe so.
Okay. I was just curious when you brought up collegiate sports, which we don't do based on the governor and also what we decided here as a commission. I'm wondering if the players here in Oregon are looking at, I'm sure some of those other states do allow collegiate betting. And I was just kind of curious about maybe how many of those states are doing that, and players here thinking that's going to be part of our portfolio.
So I will confirm it. The last time I checked, Oregon was the only state that did not allow collegiate wagering in some capacity.
Okay.
Some states have restrictions on collegiate wagering, such as not allowing in-state college bets, but they do allow other wagers. At the last time I reviewed, Oregon was the only outlier that did not have that. Now, you do have collegiate if you go to tribal lands here in Oregon. Okay. So a player can drive over and make a bet, at the casino, or they'll choose to go to the black market to do so. But in terms of lottery, we're kind of the outlier there that doesn't have it.
Thanks for the update or the reminder. So I appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
Marty, I think you're on mute.
Sorry, trying to keep background noise here from reaching you, and I seem to keep forgetting. I simply said that it's this moves us to Commissioner Communications and other business, and I was going to open it up for anyone on the commission or any other business to be raised.
I have a question for the commission. I believe we have each individually been contacted by a reporter regarding whatever you want to call it, discount purchases of winning tickets. My question is to the commission, do we wish to address this question as a commission? If so, that is totally fine. If no, that is totally fine. If we as a commission do not choose to address it, I will more than likely send a letter to at least my legislator regarding my feelings and opinions about that situation. And I already talked to Matt about it, and we know that I will clarify absolutely, totally, and completely up front that I am a commissioner, but this would be my personal opinion. I have no strong feelings one way or the other, but I wanted to check and see if the commission, if we're going to address it, then I would be duplicating a situation if I sent my own letter. So I just wanted to find out what we feel we should do.
So why don't I give my view on this, and then others certainly step in. When a question comes up like this, particularly from the media, I need to tell all of you that my view is that with respect to the operations of the lottery, it's a management discussion first, at least. I know that Mike and the rest of his leadership team have looked at this. I think when we are asked as a commission, let me back up. When an issue comes up that the lottery has looked at, I do think it's their responsibility to decide if it's an issue that should come to the commission for discussion. I don't think that means we couldn't individually, which I have at times, gone to the director and basically said, this is an issue that's come up. We'd at least like a report from the lottery, or we would like a discussion on it. And so I guess, Commissioner Weller, I would say you're more than welcome to talk with the Mike and the leadership team about asking about this. I don't believe, so that you all know my bias, when it comes to operating the lottery, I don't think it is an independent inquiry by the commission. I think we can ask the lottery to bring forth information, and then we can discuss that, but I don't think that it's our position to assert or an independent inquiry about it. We need their direction. I want to say that's also because in this topic in particular, this topic is one that would need to be discussed with the governor. And I just would not want the commission having an open discussion without at least having that prep work come before us, so that we don't inadvertently come out at cross purposes with both the governor and the lottery. So that's my way of, I hope I wasn't too cryptic. I'm happy to have that discussion. I think the lottery needs to bring that forward if we're going to do that. With respect to anyone, of course, can send a personal note to their legislator, or no one is stopping anyone from talking to anybody. I know that. I did in fact respond to the reporter after talking with Mike and his team about that. But I also think that we all have to be very, very cognizant of the fact that we are on the commission. And so I'm glad you pointed out that we have personal opinions. Those personal opinions will be extrapolated because we're on the commission. So I would only implore us all to keep that in mind too.
Totally fine. Thank you so much. That's good clarification to me, and I will contact Mike and at least have a brief discussion with him and go forward from there. Thank you.
Yeah, and I do think they're looking at what information should come forward to us to have a better discussion about that. But I also want to remind everybody that we did deal with a rule to reach
Yes.
out to our retailers about this. And the parties that I think the media was inquiring about, I'm not sure we have authority to reach out to that group. That has to happen at a different level, I guess I would say. If you're reaching out to other than our retailers, others, I don't see anything in our statutes or in our mission that says we could do anything about that. But I have, like you, Commissioner Weller, I've said, I hope the lottery is looking at this, and to the extent you can bring forward information for us to talk about, that would be great. It's my view. Open for anyone else to comment.
Appreciate it.
Okay. With that, this concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on Friday, August 30th. I want to thank you all for attending today's meeting, and the meeting is adjourned. Thank you. It was good to see everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day. Thank you.
You too, all of you.